Hey y'all, it is I, Anthony the Canadian Guy, and welcome to Wrestlesode. Today I have joining me the king of the hot take, literally the guy with the worst opinions, probably in Canadian wrestling I can think of. His name is Blake Kannon. Of course, he is your MPW Provincial Champion as well. He is a great wrestler, a great guy, but man, does he have just like the worst opinions. Like the guy doesn't like ketchup chips. But I won't get too much into that. You guys will hear all his horrible takes here very shortly. But before we do get into that, just want to say that tonight at 8 p.m. Mountain Time, if you are watching this on April 5th, we will be interviewing live one Zoe Sager, the PWA Women's Champion. We're going to be talking about everything through the pandemic, her time wrestling at the Saddle Dome. It's going to be great. Lots of great stuff to chat with there. So if you guys want to double check that out, that will be tonight over on Twitch at twitch.tv/JupiterVision. But for today, we are talking with one Blake Kannon. Like I said, he is the MPW Provincial Champion. And this was a really fun conversation. Me and Blake have a really good rapport. We've both lived in the exact same town before. So like we've got like that little rivalry that comes between us, and it comes through in the podcast as well. It's really fun. So I hope you guys will all enjoy that. But anyways, enough with me. Let's get straight into the interview. We're here. Thank you, first up, for joining me here tonight and doing the first Wrestlesode.
Thanks for having me, man.
No problem. So first, you've got a big piece of metal there on your shoulder. Do you want to give that a little shout out before we get going?
Yes, this is my baby. This is the MPW Provincial Championship. This is my second run as champion, not with this title. I'm the first one to hold this title. This is brand new, and it's much nicer and less dented and scratched than the other one.
It is quite shiny. Are you been polishing it just to keep it like shiny and brand new?
I don't have to. It's self-sustaining.
Oh, it cleans itself, right? Does it come with like its own? Does it come with like a wipe? So how did you win this thing? How long have you had it now? You said this is your second run.
Yeah. I won it in a ladder match, a fatal 4-way ladder match. Back in October.
Wow. It
was me versus the Sultan, T.Y. Jackson, and Rich King. And I think I didn't know I was gonna win this back till like the day before.
Well, what do you mean the day before? You trying to tell me that you didn't win? You didn't know the moment you got the pin, or you grabbed the ladder, or whatever it was? Grabbed, what's it called, from the top of the ladder?
Yeah, no, I didn't find out until the match was going on.
That's exactly it.
I didn't know until like I got a text like the day before when I was having dinner with my family.
They're like, "You're going over. Be ready."
Funny story. I kept telling my dad when we were at dinner the night before that I didn't know who was winning, and oftentimes I'll tell my people that like all the time, just because like sometimes like people will try to get me to like tell them what's gonna happen in my match,
right?
And like I'm not gonna give you a spoiler.
What a waste, right? Like that's, go watch the match, right? Like
yeah,
have fun.
Come to the show,
that's
man.
Part of wrestling, right? It's fun.
Yeah, my dad's like, so tell me, are you winning the belt? I'm like, I don't know. Like this time I wasn't bullshitting him. I was telling the truth. This time I genuinely didn't know, and I actually got the text that I was gonna win it right as soon as we were getting up to leave dinner. I just like saw the text, just looked up at my dad. It's like, all right, okay. And then as soon as I was walking away to get in my car, it's like, oh, by the way, I got a text. I know what's happening now. Bye. That's
amazing. You're like, bye, see you tomorrow.
Yep.
That's amazing. So I guess he was at the show?
Yeah, he was.
Good. That's awesome. So how long have you been wrestling now for MPW? In general, how long have you been? Let's talk about Blake Kannon as a wrestler, I suppose. Let's wind it back. How did this start for you, man?
This started back in February 2018, I believe. Yeah, February 10th, 2018. But before that, I was actually like an MPW regular since like September 2016, like as a fan,
right?
Mind you, because I remember I was on White Ave in Edmonton and I was playing Pokemon Go. Yeah, Pokemon Go, sort of.
Sure.
Yeah, I was playing Pokemon Go and I came across a poster for an MPW show. Like I had heard of MPW, but I'd never actually been to an indie show before, so I decided, screw it, why not? And first night I was absolutely hooked. And I went to every show every month for a little over a year before I decided to get in the ring myself.
So how did that come about? What was like? Were they doing tryouts or something? And they're like,
Yeah, it was there was a mini camp. It was like I think the other notable name that I can point out that also started that mini camp is Rich King.
"Oh,
There was
okay,
Ajax too, but he hasn't wrestled in like 2 years.
right." So you guys all started at the same minicamp, you and Rich King?
Yeah, we were both the same day.
Oh, okay, so well, I'm interviewing Rich next week. So first up, since you're getting the first interview, is there anything you want to say about Rich's first day that I can just insult him with or make fun of? And that, no,
I don't remember all that much from the first day. Like, not really much about Rich anyway.
you're just taking a lot of bumps and just
Yeah, I just remember like Rich and I were picking it up a little bit faster than some of the other students that were there, and that's kind of how we ended up having our first match against each other, which normally that doesn't happen.
where they
Especially
have to
like 3 months, like my first match, like Rich and I's first match was both against each other, which is normally not a good idea. But
How did it go?
All things considered, I thought it went pretty well when you take into account that we had both only been training for 3 months. It was our first match, and we were probably ill prepared, and like neither one of us had like any sort of like experience, like the proper experience to like help like a rookie in their first match like through the whole thing.
Right. You guys were a little green, is what you're saying. It was a little bit.
Yeah,
of
like
green.
the whole match is on YouTube.
Oh, we're gonna have to get that, watch that stuff. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, Backbreaker Media uploaded it like years ago.
Backbreaker Media is awesome.
And I think like one of my favorite parts of that match wasn't something that took place like in the ring, but if you watch that match back around the time where I give Rich the low blow, you can see my sister taking my my younger sister out of the building because she was so upset that all the fans there were like heckling me,
just booing on you.
Yeah, like the Nacho Libre chants were like, I mean, they had Nacho Libre chants happened once before, but that was the show where it like kind of like took off. They've died down a bit lately, but for that first year, the Nacho Libre chants just haunted me forever, and my little sister just couldn't handle it.
Oh, see, that's something I probably would have. You probably embraced it, though, right? You were like,
Oh,
sure.
yeah,
If you're getting a reaction, you know you're winning,
I
right?
had to at that point.
Well, if as long as you're getting a reaction out of the crowd, that's the most important thing, good or bad, right?
Much better than silence. I'll take the Jack Black comparisons. It wasn't the first time.
So how did wrestling start for you? Like, what was your first experience in wrestling? Like, I know you said you got to your first show going to an MPW show as a fan back in 2016 and you got hooked, right? But like prior to that, like, did you like wrestling? Were you into wrestling?
Yeah. I got into wrestling a lot later than a lot of my wrestling, like a lot of other wrestlers, because like when I talk to like a lot of my friends, like they say like, oh, like we've been watching it as long as we can remember. I didn't start watching wrestling till I was like 11 years old. I had a friend introduce it to me. We were just jumping on my trampoline in my backyard, and he's like, hey, do you like wrestling? I'm like, yeah, sure, because I thought like, okay, I guess we're just gonna start wrestling on the trampoline or whatnot. And then he starts talking about SummerSlam that took place like a day or two before that. I'm like, oh, I am completely lost. I don't know what this is.
You're like, I thought you meant you just wanted to grapple or like just throw each other
I think you
around.
talk about like the Undertaker returning to like with that thing with Punk. It's like, oh, I don't know what you're going on about.
So what was your first match then? So you're just like, oh, I guess I'm gonna look at this wrestling thing.
Yeah, I don't remember what the first match was that I actually watched. Like, I think I had seen wrestling like one time before, and it wasn't like enough to like really like enjoy it, because I think I was just watching the TV in like the family living room, my grandparents' place, and like I couldn't find anything on TV, and I saw wrestling. I couldn't remember if it was SmackDown or if it was TNA, but I was watching it for like a little bit, and I just remember like, change the channel, fake, yada yada yada. It's like, okay, whatever. I didn't care at that point because, like, no, I wasn't a fan yet.
Right.
But when I first started watching it after my friend introduced it to me, I feel like I remember watching a Tommy Dreamer match or a CM Punk. I remember Dreamer and I remember Punk. I don't remember if it was against each other. My brain is all fuzzy. I don't remember anything, but I just remember that one night actually watching wrestling. I fell in love with it that day.
So it was kind of just like a one day, just kind of a blurred in, and it was like, oh, I totally tuned into wrestling suddenly.
Yeah. Oh wow. I actually kind of enjoy this.
Fantastic. And then you just went to a show one day in 2016. You're like, I'm just going to try this now in 2018, and now you've been wrestling.
Yep.
That's an awesome little story here. Now, I got a couple of questions for you. The first one I want to ask you is about your horrible taste in potato chips. So, and I know a lot of people in the chat currently agree with me. So, as we were saying here, you gave me this.
Chat is wrong.
This beautiful sentence here that says like F ketchup chips. But here's the thing: everybody loves ketchup chips. So, what's with your bad taste buds? That's the first question.
First of all, I do not have bad taste buds. My taste buds are correct. They are the moral. Not now. I'm busy. Kinley, get out! I'm literally on an interview right now. You gotta get out. Kinley,
Oh,
get
this
the
is perfect.
fuck
We're
out.
clipping this, please. Everybody,
Yeah,
clip this for the internet.
Kinley,
Clip this for the
go
internet.
on live.
God, okay, I didn't fucking know that.
I told you 3 times. Anyway, that was my little sister Kinley that I was talking about earlier.
That's fine. That's perfect. There you go. There you go.
Oh.
She's not scared of the provincial champion. Clearly, she, you know.
No, she's not.
Okay, so if you don't like ketchup chips, which is just like a Canadian staple kind of things, what is your flavor of ketchup chips? Because we have to get some redeeming factors here for you.
Okay, so for me, typically my first choice will either be like, say, like an original like Lay's, or it will be sweet chili heat Doritos, or barbecue chips as well. Those are my 3 go-tos. Like the ones I cannot stand are ketchup chips and dill pickle. Those 2 I can't stand it.
That's so sad.
They
Those are
shouldn't
like
exist.
2 of the best right there. But
They're not 2 of the best.
does this like? So here's the thing.
That's just what Big Potato wants you to think.
Big potato. Oh
Yeah.
man. Oh my gosh. Why is this not part of your gimmick? Big potato. Right? Like you gotta get this.
It is and it isn't. Like I like to tell myself that I'm a serious wrestler, but then I'll just do stupid shit all the time. Like my match a couple weeks ago against PJC, I busted out the Spider-Man 3 dance.
There you go. Well, see, here's the thing about wrestling. It's fun, and as long as you're entertaining the audience, it works, right? Be serious with your character, but still talk about Big Potato and the conspiracies. You're kind of like an MPW Sami Zayn, you know? Like
I might as well be at this point.
So, talking about wrestling. So, what do you love to do in wrestling? Like, do you like playing the series? Do you like doing the promos? Do you like the wrestling ability? Like, do you like playing to the crowd? What is it about wrestling that appeals to you?
For me, I think it's honestly, I couldn't even, I don't know how I even describe that, but I feel like maybe like when I'm in the ring and I'm in front of a crowd and they're heckling me, or the very, very rare time that they're cheering me, like it's a type of high that I've never felt before. It's like just something that it's hard to put it into words.
Do you prefer to be cheered or to be booed? Like, what is like honestly?
I love being booed. I don't know if I've been cheered enough to really
like it's kind of weird when people cheer
like properly, because like I've worked like 4 babyface matches before.
Do you remember who those were against? Like, who's out healing Blake Kannon in these days?
Okay, so my first 2 babyface matches were in Hinton, and for those who may or may not know, I'm from Hinton. And I'm also from Strathmore.
Oh, you're from like a million places.
Okay, I'm from Hinton, and I'm from Strathmore, and I'm from Leduc. Those are like the 3.
Right. I know one of them intimately myself.
Yeah. I wonder how that is, but yeah.
Maybe I live here.
Yeah. So I was able to. It took some convincing, but I was able to convince the MPW promoter to let me work babyface for those Hinton shows.
Because you wanted to work face in front of the home crowd, right?
Yeah, and I'm glad I did, because working those 2 babyface matches in Hinton kind of like prepared me better for when I work babyface elsewhere, when I couldn't say that I'm like this hometown guy. The first time around, to answer your question finally, is it was against Wrath for the provincial title. I remember being like kind of like lost a little bit in that match.
Right.
But it's also one of my like favorite memories, just because of like the reaction that I got. It was a lot better than I thought it would be. Considering like, I think it was like a crowd of like 60 people, which isn't the greatest, but when they're loud, it doesn't really matter. And
Yeah.
They were hot.
Right? A loud crowd in a small room still sounds amazing, right? Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, a small crowd in like a low roof, like it's still like, it can sound just as loud as 200 people. But sure. Yeah, it was like when I hit the stunner on Wrath, like that place went absolutely bonkers, and like it's probably like one of my favorite memories that like in my fucking life so far. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on this, but I just did.
Well, I think your sister took care of that for us anyways.
Yeah, now she's trying to call me now. She can't get
So what are some of your other favorite memories when it comes to wrestling, other than hitting that stunner in front of the hometown? Like, do you have like a favorite match that you've done?
Sorry, my little sister's still trying to interrupt.
Just bring her in here. We'll start interviewing her too. It'll just become like a family thing. We'll bring mom and dad in. We'll just bring the whole family.
Favorite match. I have a couple that come to mind. I think that match with Wrath was one of them, and then another one of my favorite. Some others were my match with Sheik Akbar Shabazz in BEW in Red Deer.
Right.
It's 2 matches with Kid Cyrus, or now known as Dalton Rogue.
Right.
It was the match where I beat him for the title the first time, and then the match where he took the title back from me in Lloydminster. And then one of my most recent favorite match was probably against the Sultan back in December.
Oh.
That's probably, yeah. I think like from like a storytelling standpoint, that's probably like one of my better matches.
I know that because I have been to so few wrestling events since COVID has started, unfortunately. One of the ones that I did manage to go to was your MPW show, where you were working kind of like alongside Sultan a little bit at the time, and then he ended up being under a mask and like tricking you.
Yeah, that son of a bitch. Like I was his tag partner for 2 years. I took him under my wing, and all of a sudden he wants to just deceive me and pretend to be Dark Horse and like embarrass me in MPW's like return from the pandemic. You know,
right,
like
Dark Horse. That's
I was not thrilled, and I'm honestly just done with him. I'm done with them, and honestly, I don't regret like hitting him over the head with the belt or kicking him in the back of the head with the belt either. You know,
just
like
ruthless.
Sultan deserved it.
You know, he went under a mask and he tried.
Yeah,
like, fly over there. Just come on.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but my little sister just threw a balloon into my room.
That's fine. She's making it interesting. We got this. It's good. What about for the future of your wrestling career? We'll wait.
My little sister keeps interrupting this, and now my cat's in my room.
Aw, cute. We're turning you babyface in this interview, it seems. I don't think you can be a heel after today.
Okay, Kinley, you gotta stop. You gotta stop.
I like embarrassing you.
I don't care. Go away.
Oh, man. Yeah, she's bringing the
Kinley,
heat.
you understand I'm live right now, right?
Yeah, I don't care.
People are watching.
No.
Yes.
What?
Kinley, my little sister doesn't seem to understand like Twitch streams at all.
She's like, no, you're just recording. It's fine. You can cut it out later. Yeah, Kinley for next provincial champion. There's a match we need to see.
Yeah, there we go. At this point, I'm tempted.
So, what about moving forward? And what kind of things do you want to do in wrestling? Like, what is the future of wrestling with Blake Kannon? Like, what do you want to do?
For me, honestly, I kind of just want to have fun, like, doing something that I love. Like MPW is a place where I feel like I belong, and I've felt that way since the day I walked in the door. Like every time, like whenever I'm in MPW, like it's a feeling I don't get from being anywhere else. Like honestly, fuck. I'm trying to ramble on here.
Just one of these for MPW right there. Oh, that's a really good heart. Look at that.
I'm a
Perfect
great great spokesperson right here.
Just start tearing up. They'll make you champion. It'll be perfect.
I'm already champion.
I mean, we'll get you all the belts, man. You'll be Blake 2 belts. Double cannon. Oh, Blake double cannon.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. We got a current poll going up just for everybody in chat quickly. Who you've got for provincial champion between Blake and Kinley? I'm pretty sure the votes are getting pretty one-sided. I'm sorry.
I feel like if the dad bods are in the chat, then it's gonna be in Kinley's favor all the way.
It's already 6-0 for Kinley. I'm sorry.
I don't doubt that.
Oh no, somebody voted for Blake. It's fine. We got some love for Blake. One person's got the realism there. But so that's really nice to hear that you feel so at home in MPW. Have you wrestled for other promotions, and do you want to wrestle for other promotions? Do you want to try wrestling for big promotions? Like, what do you want to do? Or is it just like you like working here in Alberta? You like the smaller crowds, more intimate? Like how do you? What is that? What is it for you?
I mean, I'm always open to taking bookings with other promotions, but as far as like the bigger promotions go. Yeah, I if the opportunity came around, I'd 10,000% do it because not many like the opportunity to work with like a larger promotion, like say an Impact, a GCW, et cetera, like those are few and far between. They don't come around for everybody. So if that opportunity came around, I'd have to take
even if it was like an extra position, like
getting
absolutely pushed over into a wall by Samoa Joe, because then you could be the next MJF.
Exactly. and then like 5-7 years later, I'll film my own backstage vignette where I'm pushing some other dude into a wall, and then a couple years later he becomes a freaking world champion.
It's gonna happen with MJF one of these days. It's gonna happen. Fantastic. What about matches? Is there any matches in Alberta here that you haven't had yet that you'd like to have, or wrestlers you'd like to wrestle, or be in a specific type of match? Oh, by the way, before we get into that, poll ended and Kinley won 16-1. So
wow, Kinley's over.
She's quite over. Oh yeah, no, we've just built a new baby face for the stream for sure. Kinley Kannon,
she's the biggest heel in real life.
Oh, that's what my stream cheers for the heels. It's fine.
You think I'm a piece of crap heel? Oh, wait until you meet Kinley.
Oh, we'll just have to get her. Just get her started in wrestling. We'll get her trained. I don't know if she is, but we'll just start now. We'll just get it going. But what about? Okay, so anyways, back to the matches. Like, what kind of matches would you like to have, or people you'd like to face?
There is a lot of people I would love to work with. Well, I mean, the first one that comes to mind is a one-on-one match with T.Y. Jackson. Mind you, I had a one-on-one match with him at the MPW training facility when we had shows shut down.
Right.
But that match was originally going to be in front of a crowd, and it breaks my heart still to this day that it didn't happen in front of the crowd. So at some point I want to wrestle T.Y. Jackson one-on-one with an actual audience. I think another match I would like, just to satisfy Rick Jules, which you know what?
You want to satisfy Rick Jules? Okay, we're here first, folks.
You hear that, Jules? You know what? One-on-one match with Rick Jules. Screw it.
There you go. Any kind of match, he's always about the death matches. Yeah. He wants to bleed.
Then
so
another one that I don't know if it's really a dream match among fans, but more among some of the MPW guys, it would be me versus the Thickness Reed Matthews.
Oh, I would like to see that. That'd be fun.
because we're both great wrestlers and not just because we both kind of look like Jack Black. Totally not that reason.
No, of course not. Not that you both are like, slightly bigger built and that you guys play slightly tanky. It's awesome too. That's just for the record. When you said you had a match against Wrath, all I could think of was just like men slapping meat, just big guys smacking each other. Big meaty men smacking meat. Whoa! White Intro gifting 2 gift subs. Dude, thank you so much. I just saw that coming through. Sorry, I just had to do that. Dude, Antonio, thank you.
What a generous soul.
Right? I got so much love for people here. I just saw that while I was looking quickly. All right, so you want to face... let's just book it here quickly. Like, you and me, we'll just do this right now. You versus Rick Jules, okay? Like a weapons match. Just like, you want to go at him with, like, chainsaws and stuff?
Oh, I mean, I'm down for any type of match with Jules, honestly. Like, knowing him, like, if we had a weapons match, it'd probably be pretty sick. Or if we just felt like saying screw everything, we could do like a cinematic match where it's just us just bullshitting the entire time. I feel like he'd be down for it.
I feel like you could do a pretty fun comedy thing with the Dad Bod Squad too.
I remember, like, when WWE was doing all those cinematic matches, I had an idea called the Into the Kannon verse match, where I would just bring out all my old gimmicks.
We have to talk about that next.
Yeah.
But what other gimmicks did you have? Obviously, like, we know Blake Cannon now. I remember when you had a little bit longer hair, but
a little bit. It's starting to grow back a little bit. When I first got that cut back in August, it was way more than I thought it would be.
You're just like, well, it looks good, right? I mean, in this picture, your hair is quite long. I have to keep going back to it. Where is it? There it is. You can see how much longer your hair was back then.
Yeah. Now it's like, right now it's just a jumbled mess because I've been wearing a toque all day. But
Canadian of you, so Canadian.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, so anybody in chat, by the way, if anybody would like to ask a question, redeem the questions. If you would like to start sending them over to me here, we'll move into the Q&A here in just a moment. But a couple last quick questions for you. So you've been the provincial champion now twice.
Yeah.
Are you ever thinking about moving for that heavyweight championship? Like, do you, not to say that you want to look past your championship. You're just like, hey, cat.
Get down, Dexter.
Oh, Dexter. You named your kitty Dexter?
Yeah. Yeah, this is Dexter.
Now, I have to ask you, is it from anything in specific?
I'm sorry, Dexter distracted me. What was
no, is Dexter a reference to anything in specific?
I don't know. I didn't name him.
See, it's just funny because I had a cat named Mandark growing up, and that was because it was the name of Dexter's evil nemesis from Dexter's Laboratory. So I was like, well, if you named him Dexter and I had Mandark, that's just hilarious.
I don't trust my cat around my belt.
No, he's going to take it. She's going to become the new champion. But anyways, not to say that I was going to say you're looking past the provincial championship, but you ever think you're going to hit that heavyweight championship? You think you're ever going to try to go for that? If you ever
I am 10,000% going to get it at some point. I know in my heart of hearts that at some point, Blake Cannon will be the MPW heavyweight champion.
Who is the current MPW heavyweight champion? It is
Wrath.
It is Wrath. He won it off of Mitch, right?
Yeah, he did.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm glad I didn't forget everything.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So we're going to move into some of the Q&A questions here. We probably got a whole bunch here. Ooh, this is a fun one. Oh. What happened to the tomato singlet? Is the singlet why you hate ketchup chips?
Oh, God. That's not why I hate ketchup chips, but the tomato singlet was really like last minute gear attire, because the very first time I got in front of a ring, in front of a crowd, it actually wasn't the match with Rich King. I actually had a chance to go down to Lethbridge for Pure Power Wrestling to do their Power Rumble thing.
Right.
And like I needed like some actual gear, and that was like the best gear I could find at Clinch Fight Shop, like very, very last minute. It was literally those like that which by the way, the red singlet is in that cabinet right there.
Oh, bust it out, man, if it's easy to get to. Let's see this tomato ketchup chip singlet.
I'm sure I might be able to find it.
We'll see. Now we can see how messy his room is. Now everybody can use judging. Judgment, this. Everybody judge.
Sure, I can find it. I will find it.
I do love that you rep the Calgary Flames pillow, by the way, living in Edmonton. Let's look at him. There's another hat. I know what it's like to have that red hat. I've got one of them.
Oh, Dexter's jacked my chair.
Hi, Dexter. All right, Dexter. So what is it like to have a parent like Blake Kannon? Is it horrible? Blink twice if you need help.
Okay, I give up. Fine.
He's already... we couldn't find the singlet, everybody. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, hold on. I'll lift it up. Yeah, that's Dexter.
Hey, Dexter.
Right, yeah.
Cute little guy.
I tried my best.
Oh, well. Next question. Do you also hate all-dressed chips?
Pardon?
Do you also hate all-dressed chips?
All dressed? I do?
I said, do you? Do you also hate all-dressed chips?
I don't mind all dressed. Like, if it's there, I'll have it, but it's not my first choice.
All right. Well, that's the answer to that one. So, but ketchup chips still best chip then, right?
No.
Perfect.
You're not. Your opinion is wrong. Ding dong, your opinion is wrong.
What is your dream feud in Alberta wrestling? Like, you could wrestle anybody in Alberta wrestling.
Dream feud. I mean, anybody in Alberta wrestling. That's a good question.
I guess it doesn't even
There's a
technically
lot.
need
There's
to
a
involve
lot.
you. It's just your
There's a
dream
lot.
feud in Alberta wrestling.
Hmm.
You're just like, I don't want to pick favorites because then it isolates other people.
Yeah.
I love some of these questions coming in. These are great.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I have like an answer off the top of my head right now, just because like there's a lot of really talented wrestlers in Alberta where I'm having a hard time picking just one.
Think on it a little bit because I'm going to make you come back to it and actually answer that question.
Okay.
Are you a bigger mark for Pokemon or The Legend of Zelda?
When I was a kid, Pokemon. Now, Zelda. Because like Pokemon has like it hasn't really done much to like grow and evolve over the years. Whereas,
And that's really the whole
Zelda
point of the game.
Especially with Breath of the Wild.
Oh, you're talking about Legend of Zelda, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, whereas like Pokemon had like a bit of open world like in Sword and Shield, but that game was kind of like, I mean, I guess it was like okay. A lot of people say it's trash. I thought it was just okay. Whereas Breath of the Wild is probably my second favorite Zelda game after Twilight Princess.
Twilight Princess is your favorite, huh? That's a hot take right there.
That is kind of, might be a hot take to some, but yeah, Twilight Princess is, in my opinion, the best Zelda game.
Perfect. All right, next question here. Would you rather fight a horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
Who asked this?
I don't know. I didn't get the names of the people in these ones. I'd be asking otherwise.
A horse-sized duck or 1,000 horse-sized?
Would you a horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
Do you remember that like one scene in Family Guy where they were doing a podcast and Peter Griffin asked a question where like, what would you rather do? It was like either one thing or like fight like 100 first graders, and then he said his strategy was to like put himself into like a bathroom stall, and as the kids try to come in, he would just start kicking them one by one as they came in. I think that's what I would do with the 100 duck-sized horses.
I think you're probably. I just don't think that ducks are very big, so I think you'd probably be okay. To be completely honest, you know what I mean? Unless they like just start kicking at you, just all like start dive kicking you.
Then it's game over.
Then it's game over. You can't beat 100 horses if they're dive kicking you. Kicking you.
Exactly.
All right, next question. Have you ever considered a mullet?
I actually have. I'm not even kidding. I have considered it. It was in high school I considered it. And every single person I brought the idea to said, Blake, don't do that. You're fugly enough as it is. Do not get a mullet. Except for one person. And that one person just so happened to be the girl I was wheeling at the time.
So you got a mullet.
Yeah. It's like I brought the idea up to her. She's like, yeah, you should do it. That'd be awesome. I almost did it. but I chickened out the last second.
Can we get you to do a mullet now in 2022? Is there is there a fund that we could raise to get the Blake a mullet fund? We should do it. You could get so much heat. So much heat.
So much heat.
You have to commit to it now, by the way. I have to force you into this
shit,
now.
brother.
Think about it. Next question. I think I know this one. I think it came from Mr. Crowder. Why do you love Beaumont so much? Why do you love Beautiful Mountain?
I do not love Beaumont at all. Beaumont is the trashiest city I've ever seen in my life.
Hard take.
I don't actually have like that much of a hatred for Beaumont. It's just like a silly thing that I carried on from over a meme page on Facebook. It's like low class Leduc memes where they were just shitting on Beaumont left and right, and I just thought it was funny.
I just don't even know where Beaumont is. That's how horrible I am. Exactly. Where the hell is Beaumont?
Beaumont is a little bit east of Leduc and it's like southeast of Edmonton.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought it was funny just because like I don't have any hatred towards Beaumont now, but as a child I kind of did, just from sometimes I'd play hockey against the Beaumont kids, and I probably fought more Beaumont kids than I would any other city that we played.
Well, there you go. To answer Jules's question, I got the Beaumont. Who the hell do we know in Beaumont? My brother-in-law. Oh yes. Sister-in-law, right? Rachel.
Yeah.
How is Rachel? Whatever it is. I hope I got that right, Jules. All right. Next question. Oh my God. Would you rather fight a taco or a grilled cheese sandwich? Good questions here. Good questions. These are the hard questions, man.
I'm not sure if I could take grilled cheese in a fight. Like I can take on the current heavyweight champion Wrath in a fight, but a grilled cheese sandwich, oh Jesus, I don't know.
That's like a lot of heart issues. That's congestion later.
Yeah,
you might
so
have trouble
I'm
sleeping.
gonna have to go with the taco.
To go with the taco?
I'll go with the taco.
You'd rather fight the taco. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how sexy do you think the green M&M was previously and now that it's been redesigned?
I saw that vaguely. I think I saw like Tucker Carlson.
Oh, I watched a video of him.
He just seemed like he was talking about it like he was trying to not show that he was upset, but you could tell on his face that like he was like angry.
He's like, I can't jerk off to the green M&M anymore. He was so upset about it, Tucker Carlson.
I thought this was America.
Yeah, they win when they make them have ugly shoes or whatever. He's such an idiot. God, what a moron.
I'm pretty sure the M&M doesn't look all that different. It's shoes that are different.
Yeah, that's the thing. All it is. They've changed the shoes.
Like you still jerk off to the M&M, man.
There you go, Tucker Carlson. There you go. You could still sexify them.
No one's judging you, man.
Yeah, whatever you. Well, I still judge him because it's Tucker.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of things you can judge him for.
Oh, for sure.
I will not judge you for that particular thing.
No, not on your kink, man. Everybody's got their own.
Yeah.
All right, next question. What about salt and vinegar chips? Can we get some common ground here? Because those are also like an S tier chip.
I mean, I kind of feel the same way about those that they do all dressed. Like, if they're there, I'll have them, but they're still not my first choice. My first choice will always be barbecue or original.
See, I agree with the original, like just old fashioned, just like original. Sometimes even just the ripple, but just they're so addictive. You just eat the old fashioned Lay's or something. Here's the thing: ketchup chips are best as old Dutch, but regular I like Lay's. Like that's just an opinion. Maybe that's just me. Anyways, all right. I think that was. Oh, next question. When will you become pro wrestling's Alex Jones?
I thought I already was.
When are you gonna make it more official? Wear the tinfoil hat. Yell at people angrily.
Sultan uses in his mustache for turning a freaking frog's gay.
Yes. Oh, perfect. And then talk about big potato.
Yeah.
This is his new gimmick, Alex Jones, big potato hater.
The ducks in the park, Big Potato doesn't want you to know this, but the ducks in the park are free. You can take them home.
Oh, that was amazing. Dude, thank you so much for joining me here today. That was hilarious.
Thank you for having me.
Before you go, you want to give any of your shout-outs and any plugs to anything?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. It's at Blake Kannon. on Twitter at Kannon Wrestler, and on Twitch, where I'm hopefully going to be streaming a little bit more often on the Blake Kannon. And I think I got all my cheap plugs in there.
Big shout out to the future provincial champion Kinley as well for the interruption.
Kinley will not get anywhere near this.
I'm pretty sure the stream here has already made its decision as the next champion.
I refuse to give the people what they want.
Perfect. All right. Well, what about the next time? When is MPW having a show anytime soon, or when's the next show?
Yeah, we are having our next show next weekend on February 5th at the Alberta Avenue Community Hall in Edmonton. The show's called Seek and Destroy. I don't know who came up with the name for that, but he's probably a badass and probably in the Zoom call. But, that's when I'll be defending this. Someone's going to try to steal this from me again, but that's fine. It's nothing that I'm not.
Do you know who you're facing that day?
I have been informed who I'm facing, but I'm going to let MPW announce it first before I say anything.
Dark Horse.
Stay tuned.
Dark Horse versus Blake Kannon for the rematch for the Provincial Championship. Dark Horse is coming back, everybody.
Yeah.
Dark
Horse coming back after I unmasked him.
Kinley! Oh, it's Kinley. Kinley's facing. That's what you're. Sorry, buddy.
I mean, if MPW wants to book Kinley, I don't have a problem doing that match.
You'll go over for your sister? Yeah, sure. Why not? Keep it in the family.
I will not put my sister over.
Oh, you're like, I'm going over. You're like, no, it ain't happening. All right, buddy. Dude, thank you again for joining me. Next week, I will be having Rich King on here. So, and I know you guys started, like you said earlier today, on the same day. So I will make sure to bring that up and see what he remembers about you on his first day. That'll be fun.
I'm probably going to get roasted.
Perfect, dude. Thank you again, and have yourself a wonderful day. I'm going to go back and hang up on you and, be a nice guy. All right. Cheers, buddy. A huge thank you once again to Blake Kannon for joining us here today. As I told you, the king of the hot take, just the worst opinions sometimes, but that's totally okay because we love him and it's totally fine. A big thank you today to our sponsors as well. Once again, Backbreaker Media, RK Athletics, Wrestling Rodeo, as well as the Canadian Wrestling Archive. Since we've come onto the Canadian Wrestling Archive, our numbers have done phenomenal, and it's really great sharing all this Canadian podcasting and all these interviews with all of you. So thank you for enjoying it. If you guys remember to hit that subscribe button and that like button, but I won't keep you for too long. I hope you have yourself an absolutely wonderful day, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.